The world is watching a huge shift in global power and money flow. The latest move in this high-stakes game is causing serious anger in China. It is like a game of chess, and many experts say it's a checkmate against China's ambitions. But what exactly is happening? Why is China so furious? And what does this mean for the future of global politics and economics? Let's break it down. First, we need to understand the massive $1 trillion investments flowing into the Gulf region. This is no small amount of money. It's one of the biggest investment moves in recent history. Countries in the Gulf, including Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, and others, are seeing huge foreign investments that will reshape their economies. These investments come from Western countries, Asian powers, and others who want a piece of the Gulf's rich energy resources and growing markets. But why does this upset China? China has long depended on the Gulf region for energy, mainly oil and gas. The Gulf is one of China's main sources of energy to fuel its massive industries and growing economy. But with this flood of $1 trillion in new investments controlled or influenced by Western countries and their allies, China feels cornered. It fears losing influence over this vital region. On top of this, Europe and the United States have imposed strict sanctions on Russia. These sanctions are a response to the conflict involving Russia and Ukraine. The sanctions aim to pressure Russia by cutting off its access to key markets and financial systems. But the ripple effects of these sanctions are felt far beyond Russia and Europe. The Gulf region, China, and many other countries are caught in this complex web. China and Russia have been close partners in recent years. They have supported each other politically and economically. So when Europe and the US target Russia with sanctions, China sees it as a direct threat to its own strategic interests. At the same time, China is dealing with its own economic challenges and wants to maintain strong ties with Russia. Now, with $1 trillion of new investments in the Gulf linked to Western countries, China's influence in the region is at risk. This makes China furious. It feels like it is being boxed in from all sides. The Gulf countries are balancing their relationships carefully. They want to keep good ties with China but also want to attract Western investments to boost their economies. The question is, who will win? China has been growing rapidly for decades. It has invested heavily in building strong trade routes and partnerships. It launched the Belt and Road Initiative to connect Asia with Europe and Africa through massive infrastructure projects. This was a move to increase its global influence. But now, the massive Gulf investments and EU-Russia sanctions are changing the rules. In response, China is likely to accelerate its own investments and partnerships in other parts of the world. It will look for new allies and trade routes. It may strengthen ties with countries in Africa, Latin America, and Southeast Asia. The next few years will be critical. We will see how these investments and sanctions reshape global alliances and power structures. The world is moving towards a more divided future, with new blocks of influence competing for control. China's fury is understandable given the stakes. The $1 trillion Gulf investments and EU-Russia sanctions represent